Boy.
Welcome back to another show. If he said, she said. If it's your first time tuning in, you already know who it is. Q Walker, aka Nephew Q. And then over here to my right, I got the beautiful, intelligent, curvaceous, always on time, got bars for any occasion, every occasion. Miss Christina, aka Chrissy J. Go introduce yourself with people.
My name is Christina. I'm Black and Filipina. No, I'm just kidding. But y'all know it's your girls on the ones and twos. We're here to talk about these HBCUs bars.
Bars.
Go, JT.
Bars all day.
Yo, what up, though? JT Jarvis, whatever you want to call me. Y'all see, I'm already repping alumni. KSU. Say breads.
Hey, say breads. I'm repping mine too. My HBCU shirt on to it as well. But anyways, like Chrissy said, this is a show about HBCUs, everything. We want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifference, all things
and everything in between.
You know what I'm saying? Because we feel like HBCUs are very, very important, and we want to get this message out here. So we have some guests. Mr. Corey Dunford here, who went to K-State. Man, you want to go introduce yourself real quick?
Corey Dunford, I'm from Paris, Kentucky. I went to Kentucky State, played basketball for him, and definitely a Sigma Blue fight.
There it is. And then our very own JT graduated from K-State, man. Going to tell a little bit about, where you graduated. Going to tell them what you are.
So Kentucky State University, got there in 2001, graduated 2007, sat out a year, pledge Kappa.
There you go. No, hold on. You better say it proudly.
Yeah, you can say it like you
like
said.
pledge Kappa. Like, you better let them know what you did.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man.
You
Yo, baby. Yo.
Yeah. Hold on. She said you gonna stroll for us real quick?
Okay.
You don't want to stroll for
We
us?
gonna bring the other ones in. So we got a few other guests here who's gonna rep, and hopefully it ain't no beef between them, because I think one's a Delta and one's a AKA. So
okay, we about to get into it. So let's talk. Let's bring your homegirl on here real quick.
Okay.
You want to introduce Miss Alicia?
Yep, I'm gonna introduce Alicia, such a diva, Brandon. I'll let her kind of tell you guys where she went to school and everything else, so she can rep hard.
And we have Miss Alicia. Go and say what's up to everybody, Miss Alicia. I must be back on the delay. Can you hear us?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Alicia Brandon. I graduated from Tuskegee University in 2005 with a degree in sales and marketing, and I also pledged Delta.
Okay.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
We appreciate you coming on, and then I'm about to bring my homegirl to the stage. She resides in Houston, Texas. She went to Prairie View A&M University. Her name is Gransberry. I'm gonna bring her on to the stage. She can rep her your digs. How you doing there, Miss Gransberry?
Good evening, everybody from the dirty South. It's your girl, the Gransberry. I represent the Hill, PVAMU grad. I'm a double grad from PV, actually. And I also went to law school at HBCU. So I also went to TSU. They both do a SWAC. So I represent the SWAC too.
There it is. That's what opening grand closing then. So yeah, like we.
Wait. I'm sorry. I mean, I really didn't have to say much because the ladies of Alpha, Kappa Alpha. So we welcome all of the Divine Nine sisters. I don't have any beef with anyone because there's much love to go around. I mean, when the mother gives you her blessing, you are welcome into the circle. So, hey, it's all good to me as well. Oh, and it's my silver year. So it's my 25, my silver year as well.
Oh, man, Black don't crack. We over here.
Everybody looking good. Everybody looking good. But we thank you, ladies, for coming on. Corey, we appreciate you coming on as well. JT, it's whatever.
It's Otis for the sensation.
But man, so let's get right on into the proceedings of the show where we got some people saying "Say bread." Alicia, I want to throw this question over to you first. Why did you choose to attend an HBCU?
Well, for me, a HBCU was the only option. Matriculating through elementary, middle, and high school, I always loved all of my Black teachers. I didn't have many. And the ones that I did have all went to HBCU. So I just started to do my own research. Actually, when I graduated, right before I graduated high school, the only school that I had applied to was Clark Atlanta University because I wanted to be in the ATL. But Clark didn't give me a lot of scholarship money, so I had to go back to the drawing board. My dad at the time was like, if that's where you really want to go, that's the only school I applied to. And I had pretty good grades in high school, but I just wanted to be in the A. So I went back to the drawing board. We have a huge following in Cincinnati, where I'm from. Of Tuskegee University alum. So they were like, hey, you should come over to Tuskegee. And I had seen it on a Black college tour, was like, but it ended up being one of the best decisions of my life.
There it is. And for real quick, for those who are watching via the Facebook group, I'm gonna paste the link in the comment section. You click on that link, and whenever you comment, your picture will come up with your comment as well. So, Corey, man, you got buckets down at K-State and all of that down there, man. What made you choose to go to K-State?
Truthfully, I was in Kansas playing basketball and ended up playing at the Dirt Bowl in Lexington.
Okay.
And the coaches came to me, so truthfully, K-State chose me, but it was a blessing at the same time because that's where I needed to be around family, my people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just how it happened. And like she said, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
What about you, JT, man? What made you go on down the road and attend K-State being from Lexington?
So, just for me, watching shows like A Different World kind of got me into the the HBCU thing. And then a couple years I went down to K-State with my homeboy DeJuan Bright, Marvin Bright, all of them, and going to homecoming and stuff. And I was like, man, yeah, I gotta go to HBCU. Gotta go to HBCU. So but Kentucky State wasn't my first choice initially. I was just like Alicia, I had my mind kind of stuck on ATL. So I had actually applied to Clark, TSU, Tennessee State University. And I applied to Kentucky State because it was here and I had been there, but like Alicia, wasn't nobody throwing out some real money. So I had to stay in state. My folks was seeing that out of state tuition, but just like Corey said, best decision I ever made. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I actually played baseball there a couple years too. So was able to walk on and play baseball there.
I didn't know you played baseball. I didn't know you swung get bet.
Right.
On,
I didn't know you swung get bet a little bit, bro.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Did you get coins for playing? Was you on scholarship? You was like a walk on.
Nah, I walked on. Walked on, and then the next year, they threw some measly change at me. So
hey, coins is coins.
It was coins, but. And then I'm gonna toss it on over to Gransbury. What made you choose the two HBCUs that you chose?
So I'm a little different. I went to a majority Black high school, a very popular one. We had 1,000-member band, had marched in the Rose Bowl. So I was at a very popular school for band. And my band director had actually played in the Texas Southern Band as well. So he was known in Houston. He was known as Southern and PV. So we would always see the SWAC anyway, because we would get invited to march and participate in their homecoming parades. So I was exposed to Black college from that standpoint. And then all of my aunts and uncles on my dad's side went to Southern. And because my family, dad's side is from Louisiana, from Baton Rouge and New Orleans, basically. And so for me, I had no idea where I was going. I just had good grades and threw out a bunch of applications. A bunch of different scholarships came back. Only 2 were full rides. And ironically, it was PV that said I could start in the fall. And then it was North Carolina A&T that said I could start in the spring because they were full for the fall semester out of state waivers. Like they could only do so many a semester. I just didn't see the point in waiting a semester to go to college. It was for the same major. Both schools had the same major. Both schools were ranked for engineering. So I just went down the road because it was the first full ride that was available at the time. And I didn't have to wait. I mean, Southern offered money, but I guess in the sense of the way you guys are speaking, it was chump change. So, like I said, I took the full ride at PV, and I realized my 3rd year I was bored. I didn't really care for my major, but it was what the school was known for. So I kept my major, picked up another major, and then was like, wait, I won't finish in 4 years. I don't want to pay for school. So I became an athlete later too. And I was a 2-year bowling athlete on bowling scholarship to finish. And I pretty much used the bowling scholarship to, push me on my way out. TSU for law school was weird too. It wasn't planned. I applied to a bunch of different law schools, but at the time, one of my close friends from undergrad, his mom was a professor and dean at Texas Southern. And so I asked her to write a recommendation letter for law school. And she was like, okay, as long as you apply to TSU as well. So I was like, okay, that's not a problem. And so I got in and it was more free money. I wasn't used to paying for college. So to me, it was like, sign me up for the free money. So once again, I went to law school almost completely free. I mean, I paid a little, but it was so minimal that it wasn't even a second thought to go at that point because I didn't really have to pay for much. And I managed to end up being a graduate of TSU and PV. So I always have my jokes about just this past weekend, TSU beat PV to get the NCAA spot in the tournament. And I was like, well, either way I win. Of course, I was a Panther first, but I'm still not losing. So it is what it is for me. So it was just scholarship selection, but I did apply to schools in Atlanta. I had the dream of Atlanta too. I was thinking about Spelman. The only reason that didn't work for me was I didn't want to transfer to get the engineering degree, or I didn't want to graduate with an associate's and then have to finish elsewhere. And PV and A&T and Southern offered the same degree without, switching schools.
Man, I feel, man, I wish I would have went to HB. Man, I probably wouldn't have been no good. I ain't even gonna lie. I wouldn't have been no good. I've been one semester and done down there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I've been all right. I don't know, bro. I'd have been like, y'all been a hooper like you. Huh?
You would have pledged.
Oh, I know what I pledged. I've been a Q down there.
I already know.
Yeah, I would have been a Q down there joint. Why you looking at me side-eye, Jarvis?
Did you just...
But you would have been fine, man. As long as you had good people around you, you know what I'm saying? So like, I went to school.
Man, they ain't gonna let you mess up.
Okay,
Teachers
because it's so much like a family atmosphere.
It's family, man.
Yeah.
Family.
So is that the difference you guys would say between a PWI and the HBCU? Is the HBCUs are more family-oriented type of campuses versus a PWI? It's like, okay, we know you, but yeah, you on your own, bro.
Like, yeah, some schools you a number, you know what I'm saying? There, you get to know your teachers. They talk to you. Less people, so they can deal with you, interact with you. Some bigger schools don't have the luxury of doing that. Like you in class with 100 people, they can't deal with everybody one-on-one. But at the HBCU, most of the time they can. Not all the time. I've been in classes with 75 people to where you'd have to do it online and you got to get it done. Yeah. But for the most part, you can go see your advisor and they'll help you. It's family, man.
It's family. One thing I want to hit on real quick is the athletic side. You said you play ball, baseball, Greensboro, you bowled a little bit. Did you guys have any adversities, or was it, hard to get any funding or anything like that for athletics as far as HBCUs?
Nah, it was good. Basketball, well, you got to think band, basketball, and football is always going to be taken care of.
Right.
So, like, we had no problem with the money, but it was hard because and I know she said he played baseball, pledging, schoolwork, playing sports at the same time. You got to put your mind to it. Yeah. Like, but really put your mind to it.
But my question is, was you really doing your schoolwork? And listen, I'm not even trying to be funny because some of my homeboys went to UK and they played ball and they wasn't doing no work.
No, we did our work.
He said, "No, we did our work."
I mean, not real talk.
They will not let you not do your work.
No, seriously, like they wasn't taking tests. Like people was doing their stuff, and I mean,
that's
I know
a bigger
the
level.
different.
That's a bigger level of basketball, but nah.
What about you, Jay? The baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, the funding was a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like Corey said, the basketball team, football, and band, I definitely gonna get all the funds, right? Everything else. There were a couple people on the team that did get like full rides, but it wasn't everybody, I mean, it may have covered a pretty good chunk, you know what I'm saying? My situation was a little different because I actually ended up walking on, so I went out there and, tried out, and out of all the walk-ons, I was the only one that made it,
Humble brag.
And I wasn't, a little humble brag, but I wasn't even really at the time, that year, I didn't expect them to give me no money.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so.
Yeah. What about you, Gransbury? As far as funding for bowling and things of that nature, was it hard for them to come by?
So it's very different from me. Like I said, I joined a bowling team. It was actually my senior year, so my 4th year. And that was the first year of the team. I mean, it was like, for me, it was more like God saying, right? It was like, I literally had just lost my second appeal to have my scholarship extended a year. And they said, no, the rule is 4 years. You graduate or you pay, pretty much. And they put up a sign because of Title VII, SWAC didn't have enough women's sports. So bowling was an addition to SWAC that was starting in the spring of my graduating year, if I was graduating on time. So I just tried out. Like, I actually was a horrible bowler. I just tried out because I saw the sign said scholarships available. And what they did is they took 2 full scholarships and split it up between all of us on the team. But for me, since I was still on full ride that 4th year, so I didn't need that much funding. So I got less funding that year. And then I was the senior bowler in the fall for my 5th year. And it was based on basically skill set at that point. So I got a larger portion. And then I was toward the end. So I needed less hours at that point. Like, I was almost done with graduating at that time. So for us, yes, it was a funding issue in the sense that there were only 2 full scholarships and the coach elected to split it up. But as the seasons progress and years progress, now they're actually just giving, a full ride to 1 or 2 on the team, and then everybody else is partial. It's still the same as they stated, like football and band had way more money because they generate more revenue. And bowling was new at the time, and it was more of a equal sport issue. So it wasn't equal funding, but it was enough funding for me. So I guess I didn't see the disconnect or the hurt. And most of us that were on the bowling team were on some type of academic scholarship already. So we didn't need that much money. So it was easy to kind of like share the love. And I think that's part of the thing at HBCU too. Like, the coach made that decision. It wasn't required by NCAA. She decided that everybody who's playing can get some of the money.
That's dope. That's dope.
It is. We had Mississippi Valley State. His name is Willie Mays. Please chime in with any questions, experiences, and things of that nature that anybody watching has experienced at HBCU. We're gonna switch it over to a little something fun real quick. I'll kick it off with Alicia. She's been quiet up top for a little bit. So, Miss Alicia, what is your favorite memory from your college experience, if you can narrow it down?
That's really, really hard. Really, really, really hard. I got a lot of good memories. Some of them I probably
hold on. Let me kick back. Go ahead. Let go ahead.
Some of them I can't share because I still have to be employed. Okay. But I mean, it's so many different memories. I guess the biggest thing we already kind of tapped into the fact that like it's just a big family, and a lot of I live in Atlanta now, so I did make that dream come true. So it's a lot of Tuskegee grads in the city, and every event I have is like homecoming. Like if I host Friendsgiving or I have something in my house, it's just like homecoming. So I guess I would say, homecoming. Even though the pandemic did us dirty in 2020, going back for homecoming, I've only missed one in the 15, almost 16 years I've been out of school. And as you go back and it's literally a reunion with your family. Like people, you might see them on Facebook, but it's nothing like hugging their neck and, catching up with them. So yeah, homecoming definitely is my favorite memory.
Speaking of homecoming real quick, what would y'all say is the difference between an HBCU homecoming and a PWI? Look, I can't even get the question now before she's shaking her head. And a PWI homecoming. Corey, what would you say the difference is, man?
It's just culture, man. It's just difference.
He started smiling and everything.
HBC homecoming is like a family reunion, man. Like a big family reunion. Like she said, we missed it this year. We missed that this year. Like I'm still messed up over that. We talking about how the next one's gonna be already the day after we missed it. Like you go homecoming, people you didn't even I wouldn't say mess with in school. Like you might not even talk to them, but you go homecoming. We all grown, we all older now, so we all done got a little wiser. I might not have seen you in school, you might not see me, but we'll talk. at homecoming, and the next year then we'll talk like we best friends.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just family, man.
Yes. What about you, Jarvis? You got that big old smile on your face.
Nah, I mean, I'm gonna just put it like this. This is how you know, like HBCU homecomings are turned up, right? Because it was some weekends, some years where our homecoming coincided with either Louisville's or UK's.
Yeah.
They was all at our homecoming. So that's when you know, like, HBCU homecomings is what's up. You know what I'm saying? So all the PWIs around the area, they came to our homecoming to turn up, right?
And they
go to
switched
their own.
theirs. They don't even have theirs on our year no more.
Yeah, they try
because they can't no more. Y'all, man, watching y'all talk about homecoming. Look, everybody got smiles on their faces talking about homecoming, man.
Like everybody said, that is family. Like, you know, when you go, it's like you don't miss a beat. It's like, you know, you may not have talked to someone for a whole year since the year before it's homecoming. You go back to homecoming, it's all love. Ain't nothing but love. And it don't matter. At our tailgates, man, you can walk up to damn near any tent and get you some food. Somebody got some liquor, get you some liquor.
Yes, party.
All love. Yeah.
See, I just attended my first ever HBCU homecoming 2 years ago, right?
I mean, because you tried to give me the good.
Yeah. So I went to, I said, listen, I was about to graduate from EKU. I was like, I ain't going to that. Like, it was so turned. I was just like, is this what I was missing like all these years? So yeah, it was made me want to go back. Get my master's just so I can be a part of homecoming.
Great. Did you ready to answer? Greensbury, what you got for us? You know, tell us about, you know, homecoming experience for you and some of your fondest memories that you can talk about.
You know, I don't care about talking about mine. You know, my Instagram is wide open. They can come for me. It don't. But I would say my freshman year, I don't remember much. You know, it was away from home, have a good drink, you know. But what I would say is, like, I just had really good friends, right? Like, I always met like really good people. And so we literally could rotate like whose turn it was to drink. So homecoming is a week. You know, people think about just that Saturday, but homecoming is a week when you're a student. Yeah. So we would rotate and draw straws of whose job it was basically to babysit your friends. It was your job to make sure everybody got back to their dorm safe. If we had a house party, we took everybody's keys before that. So nobody was taking you home by accident. We didn't have any accidental issues. You out of your mind. Somebody's job was to always monitor the friendships. And we kept that throughout college. We had Thirsty Thursdays. We had sorrow parties, frat parties, but we still we cared about each other. You know, even if you wasn't like super close, we cared about Deltas. We cared about AKs. Like people were roommates in different sororities and fraternities. That didn't matter, you know? So we were a family. Like you said, homecoming was a picnic. And I don't know. There's no way you can pick one. And I thought about when you asked like the whole talk about the Black college experience, but actually it's like a lifestyle because once you go, like I can go to North Carolina A&T's homecoming and I'll be embraced and I'll understand the culture and fit right in. And frankly, they come to our homecoming and do the same thing. People at TSU. I have friends in 2019 who I've known since high school who experienced their first homecoming and said, I had no idea this was going on 45 minutes away from my house. I will never in my life miss again. I took friends who went to PWIs and every year to this day, they still text me, can I go to homecoming with you? Can I stay at your house and travel with you? And her first year, that's one of my best experiences was taking her to homecoming and having my own mother. Because at the time I didn't live in Houston. I had to come home to Houston and then you drive up to PV. And so my mom came in the room. I had got up. I had been getting dressed for like an hour or so. And she came in and she told my friend, she was like, you know, it's time to get up, right? And she was like, your daughter's crazy. She's already dressed and saying we're leaving in 15 minutes. She said, you don't understand. It's a job. Homecoming is a job. You have to be ready to go. So like the goal is to be on campus by like 6:37 in the morning if you're not in an RV. So now I'm older, right? That was like the 30s. So now in my 40s, you know, we like already who has the RV? Who has the pit? Are we catering food? Okay, it's your job, utensils. Like now it's way more organized. So it is definitely a family reunion. So to me, homecoming, and then I would say, you know, that first semester being Greek, because I was a fall 96 AKA, but there was an ice storm in Texas and we couldn't probate until the spring. So we were like holding out, waiting to probate. And it was like, well, we finally get our day. So, you know, you remember that day you got to probate on campus and just different. My first time having the opportunity to step. I just don't think there was anything in college that I left on the table to be a part of, whether it was sports, student activities, student government. I tried it all basically. Like I was a class officer. I gave it a try. I ran for student government president. You know, I was on the board. If they put a sign up, I applied. Pretty much. I mean, and I didn't have anything to go from, so there was no fear. Like my parents weren't college grads, so it was just like the worst they can tell me is no, and I don't care about no. So I think for me, it was like, what the hell? Okay. You know, I was told that I was too I probably dressed like I lived in California. I wore short skirts and Daisy Duke shorts every freaking day. That was my wardrobe. It was to the point where like when I was trying to become a member, they came by and they were like, do you have any other clothes? Like, can you put on clothes? And I was like, no. My mama said, enjoy these legs while you have them because it'll be harder to keep them later. And so this is my choice. And I did that. Like, I was like, I make the grades. There's nothing wrong with who I am as a woman. And I'm not going to make you feel better. Like, we 19 and 20. Are you crazy? Like, anyway, they still picked me and I was president. So it wasn't too bad, was it?
Well, what about you, JT, over in the cut, man? What's your college memories that you can, you know, recollect on and tell about?
Man, I think like for me, and a lot of, you know, if you wasn't at K-State during that time, so I got to K-State in 2001. So Corey will know about it. And then like, you know, I see some of the people that's been commenting on here, they came in with me like a year or two before or after, but the way the yard was set up in 2001 before the renovations, like just the whole setup of the yard was, I mean, it don't even feel the same right now anymore, but the setup of the yard, I think they started renovating it 2003, I think spring 2003. And it just like my best memories came from, you know, the little idiot rocks that was sitting up there.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out right there. And I just remember like, it was damn near like, it had to damn near be like a fashion show. Like you can't pass and go to the calf past that area if you wasn't looking like something. You know what I'm saying?
They on them rocks waiting on you.
They waiting on you.
I mean, you know, and it was all fun and games. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, nobody hated you. It was just
that's where get these jokes off.
That's where you hang it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But probably that the late nights in the calf. That was crazy. The grill. You know, when you know the lady in the grill, she give you the free chicken wing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
we eat.
Yeah, you know, it was a few people knocking them down, but they probably got a little more than some chicken wings.
Yeah, but when you say this, man, you know, that's neither here nor there right now.
Yeah, but I mean, man, I remember having like a big water balloon fight on campus. Man, it was just. It was lit, man. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
So go ahead.
No, I got kind of a double-sided question, and this is kind of more serious thing. So when I was in that era, was time to go to school, right? They was telling me, "Don't go K-State. It's a party school. You're gonna be able to get nothing done." You know what I mean? Like, and then throughout the years, you know, I know it seemed like that the reputation went a little bit down, but I feel like now, and I don't know if it's because of everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter, that everybody's really now on, like, you know what I'm saying, going to HBCUs more. So at least I hear about it's more prevalent as far as like hearing about that. So I mean, what are your thoughts as far as like when you went there? Can you say, yeah, it was really a party school, or do you think people really?
The thing is, all schools are party school. We teenagers to 21, like Ohio State, Arizona State, they're the biggest party schools in the country. But you know what you gotta do when you get to school. You gotta focus on what you gotta do. It's gonna be a party school. You can have a party all day, every day if you want to. Ain't nobody there to tell you can't. Yeah. But that's your job not to. Like, the thing is, if you just focus on what you gotta do, you can have it's plenty of time to party. Like, truthfully, when we in high school, we go to school from 8 to 3:30. Mm-hmm. All right, my first year of college, I had a class. I had practice from 5 to, I played basketball, so I had practice from 5 to 7:30 every morning. Breakfast at 8, class at 9, 10, and 11, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm done for the day. No more practice. Tuesday and Thursday, same thing. Practice to 7:30. Go eat breakfast, lay down. Got a class from 9 to 10:15, and a class from 11 to maybe 1. I'm done for the day. Like, you got plenty of time to do stuff. You just got to get everything taken care of before you do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Alicia, you got I see you as a little ready to speak up on that, and I know me and you had kind of talked about that beforehand.
Yeah, I'm laughing because my line sister in the comments talking about we partied in a barn and still got our work done.
I remember that. Yes. Barn. I was there one day. We played Tuskegee down there. They had a party in the barn down there.
In the barn?
I was in the barn.
In the barn? Right.
Yeah, Saturday night. We played
good time too. Huh?
I had a great time.
We have to talk about that offline.
Yep. Harrison's Farm and Lounge and the Soul Inn. But we still knew, like what you were saying, we had to do to get our work done. You can party, but you need to be doing your work too. Because my daddy told me, look, you got 4 years on my dime after I lost my scholarship. He's like, you got 4 years on my dime, and that's it. So I knew I had to get in and get out.
Right. Yeah. Now you can party all day for one semester, and you're gonna be gone.
This is a wrap. It's comment on the screen right now. It's from Willie. He posted one of his crazy moments. He said, a crazy moment for me at Valley was when we went to the cafe for lunch and they had pig feet. It was 90 degrees at 12 and they serving pig feet. Not to mention, I had baseball practice at 2. So, Willie, did you eat some of that pig feet before practice? That's what I want to know. Did you go ahead and say, F it, let's go and dab on it? What was it say? Mississippi Valley State.
That didn't happen to K-State. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Now, we had pork chop Fridays. That was it.
That's about as far as they went.
Yeah, pork chop Fridays, and that was it. It's only pork.
Hey, I remember because sometimes I would come home to Lexington, but I knew I had to hit that. I knew I had to hit that calf before I came home. Hey, them fried pork chops was everything. I'm telling you.
Wing day.
Yeah, wing day. Yeah.
He said no. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm saying so. Everybody is kind of thinking about the fraternity sororities. Just real quick, why did you choose to pledge where you pledged, or who you pledged? Like, what was it about, the Sigmas that made you say, hey, that's me, Kappas, AKAs, Deltas. Go on, Co.
Talk your shit.
Man, nah, seriously. My uncle was a Sigma at Kentucky State anyway, so I was like 97.5% sure what I wanted to be, but he told me to look at everybody, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. And I looked at everybody. And when I was looking around, I was like, I seen a lot of stereotypes when I got to K-State. I don't know if it is like that now, like the Kappas is supposed to be pretty and Alphas are supposed to be
the smart
I'm
ones.
saying it.
They said the Alphas were supposed to be the smart ones.
Qs are supposed to be nasty dogs. And nasty. Like when I looked around, like I was like, I don't really fit none of them categories anyway. So I'd rather be, I'm Corey anyway. I'm pretty anyway, and I'm Corey. So I was pretty before Sigma anyway. And I'm smart and I'm Corey. So I was there. So I felt like I'd rather just bring Corey to my fraternity than let some fraternity put me in something like a stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like I just would rather be me. And like that's how we do it as Sigmas. We just us. You bring what you bring yourself to the fraternity, and then we'll use your strength to get what we gotta get done as Sigmas. Mm-hmm. So that's just how I felt about it.
What about you? What made you pledge Kappa?
I mean, for me, I took a look when I got to campus, and it was like basically looking at all the fraternities. And my road to being in the fraternity is a little different, right? Because I had, a situation which, you really can't get into too much detail, but we had a situation when I was in undergrad. So I actually ended up pledging in the alumni chapter in Frankfurt. Because of a situation that happened in undergrad, right? So, but it was all love, man. And to be honest with you, a couple of the bros that that came from A Up, which is the chapter at Kentucky State University, actually ended up paying for all of my dues at the time. So that was like straight love, you know what I'm saying? But they respected, you know, everything that, you know, happened. Right. So but for me, it was just me looking at the different fraternities, kind of like Corey said, and I kind of was like, all right, like, you know, I kind of messed with that right there. And then running into one of the bros on campus, and it was like he was the only one that like really showed me love and was like, and then he brought it to me like, hey, would you be interested? And I was like, man, you know, I had already kind of like, okay, you know, I could see myself doing that. So when he brought it to my attention, I was like, yeah, you know, got to talking to him, and then that's how my interest peaked. But
because you already think you pretty.
I know you already think you pretty thing.
Stay strolling somewhere.
But you know, that's kind of how my situation came about. But
ladies, Miss Alicia, what about yourself?
So just really going back, like I was saying, a lot of my Black teachers all went to HBCUs, and ironically, the women were all Deltas. So I had never met an AKA before. So it was really, for me, all about representation and exposure. That's what I had been exposed to. And then, you know, in high school, I would talk to my little friends and stuff, and we talk about what we gonna pledge when we go to school. And all of us wanted to be Delta except for one. She ended up not pledging anything, but I just knew. And then ironically, like when I got to Tuskegee, the Deltas weren't even on the yard, right? So I had to wait until my senior year, last semester, to pledge. But I was determined to be a Delta.
All right, Ms. Gransberry, what about yourself?
Well, that means it was meant to be for you then, if it happened like that. I would say that. I'm always something weird. Like I had an aunt that was an AKA, and I would see her wear, you know, the letters, but this was a great aunt. So it was my great aunt. So she was a little older, so I didn't really understand, you know, she had went to Bishop College, you know, Black college, but I still didn't really grasp everything. I just liked her aura, right? You know, I would see that aunt at Christmas, and I'd be, you know, just kind of looking at her. And I actually had bought an AKA shirt, you know, like for college day. And I was thinking like, well, I'm going to wear the AKA shirt to school because it's college day. And, you know, I'm going to, you know, manifest my future. And, I wore it to school in high school, my junior year. And my track coach was an AKA. And she was like, baby, you need to come talk to me. And she gave me a track shirt, and she took the shirt from me and was like, where did you get it? And I was like, oh, I went to a fair over the weekend and I bought it, you know. And she was explaining to me the issue. Now, like I said, my college is only an hour outside of Houston. So when I got to college, there were girls in the chapter who went to high school with me who knew I wore that shirt. And they were on the track team. So they knew me personally, right? So everybody knew. And it was like, it was not a fun joke, you know, when I became a member originally. But, you know, I got through it. So, I mean, I manifested it in high school. On campus, ironically, all of my close friends, my freshman year, they all became Deltas. Like, and it was hilarious because they were getting ready for Rush the second year. And they were like, what are you wearing? And I was like, I never said I want to be a Delta. They were like, well, we just assumed. And I was like, yeah, I don't, you know? So it was never like I gravitated to only AKAs or people that only want to be AKA, because I have just as many friends that are Deltas that I do that are AKAs. And actually, I used to not post much about it on my page, mainly because I just respect people that stayed active every year in grad. And so when I did reactivate and you know, post it, people know from PV that know me, but people who didn't know me didn't. And they were like, wait, you're AKA? You just seem more like a Delta. And I was like, what does that even mean, that you seem more like? Because I never really was, like I said, I never was a pretty girl, but I wasn't a party girl either. I really was just a studious kid that just didn't want to lose her scholarship. So like they said about you had homework, after my sophomore year, I took between 19 and 23 hours every single semester. So I still did everything, but because there were so many hours needed to get both degrees, I really didn't have time to like worry about what you thought about me. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna turn in my packet. If you don't pick me, oh well. Like I said, when they started talking about wardrobes, I was like, unless you're dropping off new clothes, I'm going to class like this tomorrow. I mean, it's not like my cheeks was hanging out. It's not like I was a performer in a leotard, but I mean, it's 90 degrees on campus, and you talking about you need my shorts to be longer. I'm like, unless you buying them, whatever. But like I said, I think at the end of the day, they still like me. So it's just
thanks.
But I think it's important what everyone kind of touched on here and said about how they never let they fraternity or sorority define who they were.
Yeah.
Right? And I think for anybody that's watching that may have kids, or if it is anyone, you know, still in college who's considering pledging, you know, the one thing I would always say, and you know, they tell well I don't know about any other fraternity or sorority, but you know, you a man first, right? You a woman first, and you yourself first, right? And that's how you should approach the situation. But I have seen people, you know what I'm saying, and in the frat, you call them super noobs, you know what I'm saying? They pledge and turn into someone else, and it's like, you know, that's and you know, I'm pretty sure every fraternity and sorority, I've seen, you know, has that, but a lot. You know, in those cases, they allow the fraternity to or sorority to define who they are.
Right. They get engulfed, they get sucked
into. Yeah. So you got to be confident in yourself. I feel like if you're going to join any organization, just period.
That's in life. Period. Be a man or a woman first, regardless.
So if you don't mind, that question earlier when you asked about the differences with the schools and like the trend, at the time, because like I said, I'm slightly older. I've been out of college over 20 years at this point, but you know, at that time period when I was in college, you know, we were still registering, standing in line. Like there was no online registration. I never had long
lines.
Right. It took 8 hours to register.
Yeah, facts.
For 16 hours. You know, and if the class was full, you had to walk all the way across campus to get an advisor to open up the class for 4 more slots. And then when you walk back, the line closed because you weren't in line on time. So you had to come back the next day and then it closed again.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, it did everything for me. I mean, I can go to the bank and stand in a long line. It's like, whatever. It took longer to register than it take to check out at the grocery store. So like none of that stuff even like registers to me anymore. I'm desensitized, but I heard the stigma about the party school. And I was like, well, last time I checked, their accreditation was good. They were ranked and the school is free. And so some of the people who say things like that, like on the surface, they don't really know, but they surface say it. They didn't even finish school. They were so busy trying to tell me about what school they were going to. And I was like, yeah, I got into that school too. It's not like I only got in over here. You know, PV is a part of A&M system. I got in over there too. I got in at U of H. I just wasn't going to pay for school, bottom line. And so I had 7 job offers when I graduated in engineering, and I basically interviewed in half of my jobs in jeans. It wasn't even about trying to fake a perception or whatever. I carried my weight in gold, and it didn't matter. So I think those stigmas exist. They exist for my law school, but I still finished number 3. I didn't care. I mean, one chick literally asked me studying for the bar, why did you pick that school that doesn't really pass the bar as much? I mean, while she's telling me this, she's on her 3rd attempt at passing the bar. I passed, she flunked again. It took her 4 tries, but she was judging on school names. And I was like, I'm judging me up here. I don't care what really the degree say. That doesn't justify you. So I don't look down or above anyone from a PWI or HBCU. I look at you as an individual first, but I also think I have an extended love to anybody from a HBCU because there's something we share. Like y'all saying yard, we say yard. Like, you know, all of those things unite us.
All that's the same.
So, Gransberry, you hinted on something I want to get everybody's thoughts and opinions on. Alicia, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think are some of the biggest stigmas and stereotypes about HBCUs? Because I think Chrissy had alluded to it earlier, is that when she was coming out of high school, they told her, don't go to K-State, it's just a party school, X, Y, and Z. So what do you think is some of the stereotypes and stigmas that go along with HBCUs?
The biggest one for me that grinds my gears is that HBCU students are ill prepared. Like like HBCUs are just making up their curriculum as they go. They don't have to be accredited. We just out here partying and making up stuff. And then when we graduate, we're not prepared for jobs. That's not true. I work for one of the top companies on the globe, and I was very prepared to do so. Day one.
Yeah. What about you, Corey, man? What do you think some of the biggest stereotypes?
That's it, because, and it's not the truth at all, because I got friends I talk to on Facebook every day that I went to school with, senators, doctors, lawyers, over big time businesses, like actors, models, professional football players, basketball players, like just same as any other school. HBCU is just predominantly black. That's the difference. So you're gonna get some type of hate every time it's predominantly black, regardless. You're gonna get some type of stigma. You just gotta let that roll off your shoulders and just keep it moving.
Yeah, so, like I remember when I was in college though, I halfway, like some of my homegirls and homeboys that went to UK and U of L, like we used to, because they would always say it, but then they would always be at K-State at the parties and stuff. But they would, but they would always talk about it. And I used to just tell them, like, especially when I got into, to the school, like my business school at K-State, I'm like, man, y'all don't even understand. Like, I got this African professor that talks 8 different languages, that speak 8 different languages, right? He's like, they put me onto so much game that I had never knew before, right? Like, talk to me about, stocks. Talk to me about just speaking different languages, and the opportunities that there are for that, just different things with finance, business, everything that comes with the business school. And I'm telling them, like, at the same time, I want you to come and take my corporate finance class. Since you so cold at this PWI, come take his corporate finance class. Come holler at him and just see.
You might not remember, just to go on what you were saying. Back then when we was in school, they was already talking about learning Spanish.
Yeah.
Because they knew where it was coming to.
Yeah.
If you would learn that, you wouldn't have to do nothing else.
Yeah.
They was already talking about that at Kentucky State 20 years ago.
So, I mean, just to address the elephant in the room.
Go ahead.
Just to address the elephant in the room, do you think it's strictly because it's a historically black college? No more, none less, because they figure it's a historically black college. They probably not teaching what the quote unquote kids need to learn to succeed in life.
I mean, I think it's all systemic.
It's a whole thing.
It's been systemic for a long time.
And it ain't even from us or when we was in school. It's from when it was started, because, you had to go. It wasn't no choice. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now we got a choice to go. So it's just still stemming from that. Like,
yeah.
Speaking on that, I got 2 daughters that graduated from Clark, Atlanta. And honestly, before, I just didn't grow up. I grew up with my grandma. I didn't really know what an HBCU was. None of that ever came to me. I was young when I had kids. So when my daughter at the age of 12 was like, Mommy, I'm going to HBCU. I'm either going to go Clark. I'm going to go to Spelman. She said, I went to the school. And like, she manifested that throughout the time. And so when it came time for her to go, she was like, this is where I'm going. We did not know where this money was coming from. We didn't know what we was going to do. Was God and my tears and her hard work. Literally, because I went down there and I talked to them like, listen, my daughter has prayed, and $10,000 scholarship. They said this is the most money that we've ever given a student that I guess didn't necessarily per se earn it, because I guess her test scores wasn't high enough, like her ACT, but everything else was good. She got the money. She graduated, magna cum laude, honors, everything, So for that to say, if people think it doesn't prepare them, both of my girls were prepared for the world, and they were prepared for things that I necessarily didn't teach them, because to be honest with you, like I said, I was raised by my grandmother and stuff. I didn't talk about like Black culture and how important it is to, at that age, really love yourself and embrace who you are as a young Black woman. Yeah. So being in Atlanta, coming from Kentucky, it taught them some things, and it prepared them for more than I even prepared them for as a mother. So I appreciate, what the school did for them. And I'm sure they do too.
It's crazy. You say your daughter had this idea at 12?
Yeah. She's 26.
Little light-skinned girl, we have this conversation.
Oh, for real?
And my daughter, she's 12, and she wants to go to a HBCU. She wants to go to FAMU, right?
Mm-hmm. And I know somebody that went to FAMU. So,
and the reason why she wants to go to FAMU is because of Beyonce's homecoming concert. So she's like, is that what it's like? So I'm like, some of it, but we got to work on the A's and B's first. I mean,
but to me, you know what I'm saying? As long as something sparks that interest, like I'm good that's with cool. it. And that's what, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think, like, you hear people talk about, you should go to Harvard for this, and this, and that. And my little brother graduated from Harvard's graduate education program or whatever. And my son, he's a very bright kid.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And they keep, like, everyone in my family keeps like putting this pressure on him for that, and just and I'm like, whoa, hold on. One, like, the boy's just in 7th grade. Like, let him live, we can come to that, after a little while. But 2, y'all pushing this on him, like, y'all trying to make him go. But that's how it's always been. Nobody has, well, not nobody. I think, like, around our age, we like the culture, like, hey, yo, HBCU, like, you know what I'm saying?
Where we at right now.
And, but I still encourage everyone to pick the college that's best for them, right? Where they feel like they can get the most out of to be who they want to be in life. But at the same time, I'm going to rep my love for HBCU. Even if you don't go to Kentucky State University, I'm going to put it out there. Like, go to HBCU, go to HBCU.
You can thrive so much better at a HBCU because it's hard being a black man in the world. Like, we see racism all the time. Mm-hmm. And when you ain't got to think about that, you hear it, you don't have to worry about that. It's us up here. You don't have to worry about that. Get your grades, do the right thing, and everything's good.
Everything take care of itself.
Yeah. And speaking on that, I'm going to ask the next question we had for all the guests. So, do you guys think that the with the recent events going on with the police brutality, with everyone, like I was talking to Alicia beforehand, and like, the past couple of years now, everybody want to be so pro-black, right? Yeah. I mean, it just feels like, with everything going on, everybody now is like, yeah, this is the cool thing, HBCUs. Mm-hmm. So do y'all feel like a lot of this is, one, just either, I mean, it's good to me because it gets people talking, and it gets HBCUs in the conversations now, and in front and in the ears and in the face, in the eyes of more people. But how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that the recent events are more encouraging for people to want to go to HBCUs? And I guess I'll toss it over to Gransbury first. The Gransbury.
I would say it's a mix. The reason I say that is because I do have friends that went to PWIs, and now they're like being more open and honest about the racism they experienced while in college that they tried to downplay because they were getting some stigma of an elite degree. So they accepted it and went with it because the outcome was supposed to be greater. And then they find themselves still working right next to HBCU grads, and whatever issues that we're suffering from being Black, it's Black. They don't care that you went to their institution. Your resume might have slid across a day faster, but at the end of the day, when you're in the meeting, the shirt in the meeting doesn't say PV or UT. It's just, we're Black. So they're treating you accordingly, and so for that, I think those people are now looking at like, maybe we were just told things about HBCUs and we just keep repeating them. We don't even know for sure. It's one thing, like you said, you didn't go because that's not where you were pushed, but you didn't do that to your children. You didn't say, no, don't even go to CAU. Like that's not acceptable in this family. So, it's more of a conscious effort. My sister is not pro-Black, but she's pro-awareness. So like her kids have college day at school. She orders Black college t-shirts for her kids to do that. Me, I give my niece and nephew an allowance, but I make them tell me about one HBCU that has their major, one PWI that has their major, because I'm not limiting them either. We talk about degrees and sports and picking schools only for sports. And that's not the way to go, and what is the best option overall. So I think the people who went to HBCUs, we don't never have to really feel that way. We are going to have pride in our school, and they'll see that, and It's everywhere. Like I said before the show, wait, I don't have my shirt on. Let me join up. I don't have no shame to put my letters across, my shirt. And what I've learned is sometimes others do that went to PWIs. They only want to mention their school in a room that they think they'll get more respect in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they trying to be with everybody else. And so I'm not pro-Black because I've been Black. I didn't have to get pro-Black. So I think sometimes the pro-Black may have been for people who felt washed out or mixed in or thrown in. I've never felt that way. I have never been afraid to be Black in any room or any space. And I think the HBCU gave me that naturally. And I knew who I was before I went to college. So, and that doesn't happen for everybody at the same time. But I do think we are on a platform now that more kids and parents are saying, let me make sure I look here before I exclude here. Because before it was exclude. Now it's like, let me at least check it out before I tell my kid no, or before I say that's not an option for my life. These kids are living a different life than us, and some of them are having more opportunities, and they don't see the need or necessity up front to say, I need to run to a HBCU to feel safe. But I do think things like Dion being a coach at a HBCU, to me, it doesn't matter if he coaches 1 year and progresses to another school, which everyone's complaining about. That 1 year has put more focus on the institutions that we have pride in a positive light, that he's pulled energy. He put his own kids there. He could have left his kids at the schools they were at and still been a head coach, but his kids are there with him. So to me, that says more kids are just looking at it with a different eye and realizing that we matter. You have the leagues now trying to have combines for kids from these schools. So you're saying, okay, we know we haven't done enough. And people always like, oh, it's a pity. No, it's awareness. And so I'm gonna take it. But I'm not pro-Black. I'm Black. I don't need the pro in front because I'm Black every day.
What she said. That part.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for the He Said, She Said. We're gonna regard. Yeah, but Travis, shit. I don't know how to follow that up, bro.
I do have a question. Since we was in the midst of that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys seen the article where the young white lady was at Clark, Atlanta, and everybody had a lot of slack about it. Did y'all see that? It was a few months back. They made like a big deal about it, like, we don't want her there. Why is she there? It's an HBCU. And then I know, but that's my point. No. But they said they didn't like the fact that she was posting it. They was like, there's a lot of them there, but they don't post it. They know better. And I'm just kind of looking like,
that's pride. That's
like, crazy. I'm looking like, so
that's
for crazy. That, what do y'all feel? Like, it was on Shade Room, of course, but she was posting, I go to Clark, Atlanta and whatever. And people are on there mad. And I was sitting there in a state of confusion, like, why are you mad? Like, she wants to let her be around the culture, be educated, and understand. I don't see the point of people being mad because she was proud of where she went to. Yeah, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts about it?
Not even worth a comment.
Yeah.
Like,
it's real though.
Whoever's on that is being ignorant, because it's plenty of white people who go to Black colleges. They just see what our Black people see that go to UK. They the minority. Mm-hmm. But it's plenty of white people, and they get treated just like family at homecoming. They get treated just like we all went to the same school. It is what it is.
I mean, she ended up issuing an apology, and I didn't think that she had to issue an apology, but she did. I mean, it was bad. Like, when I say they ripped her, like, it was bad, and I just didn't understand.
Was it more so white people coming for her?
No, it was
Black people.
Yeah, Black people coming for her. Like, they want to take everything and I'm just like, what? Like, so she can't go to a historically Black university because she's white, and then y'all
see that's why we allow people to say dumb stuff like, why they got that school anyway? They shouldn't even have that school. Why don't they just go school with us because of stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even needed. That's, if she wants to be proud of her school that she goes to, what's the problem?
Yeah,
I see no problem, but it obviously they made it a huge deal.
Alicia, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's cool. We always talk about allyship. Mm-hmm. I mean, what ally can you find than somebody that's been to a HBCU? I mean, they won't understand completely our plight. but they'll be able to experience it and talk from a firsthand, opportunity and take that back to corporate America, take it back to their family. I think it's a good thing. My line sister in the chat said folks who were mad probably didn't even go to Clark. So people just be mad, just to be mad.
And that's my thing.
Yeah. And Jarvis, I wanted to go back to your exposure question and about all the awareness and stuff. As I was telling you earlier, HBCUs, we've been on. I mean, this is not anything new. It's just new to everybody else. The rest of the world is just trying to catch up. I love the exposure. I think it's amazing. I got a marketing background, so it's all about building brand awareness. So right now, everybody else is in that brand awareness stage, and it's great. My message, though, to HBCUs, if you're on here, is like staff, administrators, presidents, whatever. You need to ride this wave while you can and take advantage, especially of the corporate attention, these corporate donations, internships, everything that they're doing right now. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. I work for IBM, and at least 2-3 days a week, I'm talking about HBCUs. We've stood up an entire team to talk about the HBCU ecosystem and what that means. How do we bring more HBCU graduates to IBM across the board, not just engineers, talking business people. I have a degree in sales and marketing. So just really, I never in my life thought that we would be talking about HBCUs every day at work, but they realize that it's a missed opportunity and they want to put, their money where their mouth is. They announced $100 million gift to HBCUs. So if you out there, you haven't heard about it, Google it, look me up. I'll give you the information and, let's get all 101 HBCUs to the table and get some of that money.
Get some of that money.
My daughter about to go back to grad school. Let me have her in my crib.
Get some of that money. Well, everybody, we appreciate everybody coming on today. Corey, man, appreciate your take. Gransbury, appreciate you. Miss Alicia, we appreciate you coming on. Jarvis, we ain't studying.
Hey, man, for real though, man, we need to really get like a part 2. Just get a
seriously
round table and just really discuss it, man. And I think it would be like very beneficial too if we could possibly, have a panel where we're speaking to high schoolers, possibly,
nice.
To kind of just inform them, about it. And the one thing I really want to do is try to set up opportunities to take high schoolers on, instead of going to the PWIs around here for college visits, set up and I know a lot of bigger cities, do it where they take, students to HBCUs on college tours. Here in Lexington, I don't know if they do it so much. There might be organizations within the school that I don't want to say catered to the African-American students, but more African-American students are members of that organization, and then they go. Yeah. But I think it wouldn't be bad for, you to take a school just full of a mixed variety.
Brandy Ashford said hit her up. She said Fayette County CCR coaches can help. So maybe you might want to get with
all right, bet. Let's do that.
He said, she said, boyish movement. We're gonna pick up the kids and take them to college visits.
Take them to HBCU college visits.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. But Miss Gransbury, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm public. I'm the Gransbury. So I'm not in hiding. And so shout out to PVU and SWAC and TSU. Before I go, I gotta always say thank you to my road. My road travel was great, so I salute them.
Right. And Miss Alicia B, where can people get a hold of you if they want to get some more information on how to get some at $100 million?
So you can find my IBM Twitter is Alicia M. Brandon on Twitter. My personal Instagram is I Am Such a Diva. And I just want to shout out Tuskegee, TU. Thank y'all for having me.
No problem. Corey, got something you want to say before we get on up out of here, man?
I got something for y'all.
What you got for us, man?
March 27th, man, be in Georgetown, having the biggest birthday party ever. I want everybody there. Georgetown, Lex, Louisville, Frankfurt, Maysville, Winchester, Cynthiana, everybody. Come show up, man.
Come show up and show out. It'll be like, HBC homecoming up in there.
That's what we're going to do.
HBC homecoming up in there.
I had an important question I forgot to ask, but we're going to ask it next time.
No, you want to ask it? Go ahead.
Nah, so look, Terry, it's kind of a funny So Terry Dunford had put on there that he almost got beat up. Well, he almost got in a fight.
Let me see if I
not
can find
caused
that
a
comment
riot.
while you doing that.
He didn't say beat up, y'all. He almost caused a riot because he stepped in the middle of somebody's stroke. So let me ask y'all real quick, like, let them know out there what's gonna happen. So, Corey, what's some of your
if
situations?
you and your brother stroll, truthfully, like if you open minded, like you know if somebody's being disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, you only as strong as your back in front anyway. If they ain't holding that line down, you can't really get mad at that dude because they supposed to not let him through there anyway. But at the end of the day, most people, anybody who does that, they don't know what they doing, man. Push him to the side, talk to him, get his mind right, man, and let it go.
Well, you know, in front of y'all's tent, somebody was overstepping, and they wasn't signals down.
Yeah, they was.
Hold on. Why you telling this story? He's like, bro, hold on, man. He's got his knees like, bro.
There's a lot of liquor and stuff involved.
And there's drinks at home. So, you know, like, but I have seen people get whooped behind that though. So,
look, listen, Miss Gransbury was over here like
yeah.
They already know.
I was more like, we don't play that. Like, you know better. Like,
you know it.
We never really had to have a fight because you know better. And if the party was actually a Greek party and not just a campus party, then you shouldn't even be there if you don't expect to see strut lines anyway. Like, you don't go to a Kappa party and think that there's not going to be canes everywhere. Like some stuff you should just stay home. You know, we would throw diamond and pearls parties, you know. So I'm like, we don't play that. Like, I don't play that. Zeta Gamma don't play that. I'm gonna talk to you on Monday about it. I don't necessarily do fighting because I do have things to lose, but I don't play that. But I don't play much about anything. So
My
already know.
What'd you say, Alicia? You threw him at elbow?
Elbow.
You tripping. You tripping right now, man.
Oh, man.
I just thought it was.
Nah, definitely.
Oh, that's a good question. That's better than the way they was. Yeah, that question is better than the one with, you know, messing with a student who enrolled. I don't have no issues with your race or ethnicity.
Nah.
You chose to enroll and put your dollars into the institution and attend it and get your benefit out of it. That to me is crazy.
Somebody who did that.
So,
broke line.
Yeah, man. You ready to square up with somebody?
I think
I didn't grab the dude like, come on, dude. You
think my
know
first year
better.
at K
What they usually say? Oh, my bad, my fault.
Yeah, and then we just keep on going. And they'll lock up and we'll keep on
I'm
going.
having deja vu.
Nah, we ain't going through it.
I seen the Q's stop and do that my first year. But this was this was off campus. Where was it at, man?
So was it at like a house party?
Nah, it was at this shelter off campus. Back like if you're going towards like Buffalo Trace. I can't remember what that. It was like in a little neighborhood, but it was a little man.
The hood spot?
Nah, it wasn't really the hood, but
man, that shit is the hood, man. If you going towards Buffalo Trace, you go on down by the projects.
Okay, yeah, it was the project. I'm just comparing it like
that ain't no,
like,
you know,
but
it is
but,
the hood.
Yeah.
So they were strolling and little buddy, did he was he drunk?
It was some cats that it was some cues that stopped some dudes out at RC's my first year.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they was tripping though.
Yeah,
You ain't supposed to be in there stepped anyway.
Yeah.
You at a club.
Man, listen, I left up out of there. Everything was wet. Like it was just that hot in there. Like I remember just everybody was in there. Damn near everybody had their shirts off. It was so hot up in there.
It was sweat
crazy.
box. You ever went to the cave?
Good old days. The good old days.
Man, that
Damn,
cave.
I know the good old days. I wish I had some of them good old days.
Me
at
too.
HBCU.
I went to EKU. I can go y'all's homecoming.
Pop up October. You'll have a good old day.
I'll pop up.
Homecoming.
It's right around my birthday too.
It's homecoming.
Yeah, it's right around my birthday. So I'm gonna pop up, show out, and be on number 5. But anyway,
out here, we want y'all to introduce y'all to our new clothing line right here.
What you talking?
Child support. It's for absent fathers.
Before we do that, Gransbury already cussed me out earlier today about my shirt. So we already, you know, and I said, I got to wear it because I'm controversial. She said, I know. Yeah, the shirt says, child support is not for absent fathers. I mean, it's for absent fathers, not failed relationships. So you know what I'm saying, guys, come get you some of these shirts. Look at I know
you're gonna have to come on. We had a big conversation about child support.
I know. Look.
We need her on the show.
After the show, I'm probably gonna get a text message or a call from her and be like, Q. Now I told you. So on that note, we get ready to go up out of here. Everybody gave the information of where you can find them at. Chrissy J, you got something you want to say?
man, I just appreciate everybody coming on here. Like, I really think that these talks need to be had and the awareness needs to be had, because I don't think, kind of like you said, it's not necessarily all the time about people trying to be pro-Black. It's just being more aware. So, yeah, appreciate y'all.
JT?
Peace.
Nah, same, man. Appreciate y'all. HBCU love. Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll have to do it again, and hopefully we can get a panel. Brandy, I'm going to holler at you at Fayette County Public Schools down there to try to get the word out a little more, maybe do some stuff. You know, he said, she said, boys movement. We're going to try to get some stuff going. So
There it is. Anybody watch, you can always check out previous shows of He Said, She Said on the YouTube channel. He Said, She Said Talk. Make sure you follow the Facebook page. Make sure you follow Instagram, Twitter, all the above. We get ready to get on up out of here. Make sure you like, share, and comment this show. We want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. Yes, we appreciate y'all for being on here. Corey, appreciate your time, man. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
peace.